The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Now we all got to think about this trainee pilot that was over in Sydney over the week. Start of the week, actually, Nat. He was flying a 737 Boeing.
It's a big plane.
That's a big plane. Over 100 passengers on board, and
And he's a trainee. He's got the L plates on.
yeah, yep,
Sits along with someone who knows what they're doing, I assume.
yes, yes.
I really hope.
He fainted just when the plane landed. He landed the plane, and the stress of the whole situation, he must have just been sucking it in and freaking out. He just completely fainted.
Oh.
So they had a senior pilot on board,
Yes.
not just the guy who was sitting next to him in the cockpit,
Yep.
who then took over the driving of the plane, drove it back to
Is
the...
it like when you're a learner driver and they've got dual controls and
they just-
slams the brakes
Yeah, they
on
do.
from the passenger seat?
They do. Yeah, the second pilot, a Czech captain who was there to supervise the journey,
Right.
took over and was able to safely taxi the
everyone's
plane
fine.
back to
Yeah,
gate
yeah.
at T3 terminal, by the way, everybody.
Right,
If you've been
very
to Sydney,
important
you'll know that.
detail.
Paramedics treated the trainee pilot while passengers disembarked without any issues.
You'd feel like a real goose if that was you, but also that could really surely affect...
Are we to assume that that's an instant fail on the
Yeah.
Natalie.
on the piloting test?
Yes, from the paper itself says the pilot would be unable to resume flying until he was recertified,
That's
doing
not-
the whole thing again.
Yeah.
It's not through lack of trying, though. If anything, he tried too hard, which
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, so they've said that he undergoes annual medical
Yes.
assessments.
Yes, you would. Of course, you would have to.
So, you know, blood pressures and all these things, if he's got
Yes.
psychiatric assessments and all
Yep.
the rest
Barley
of it. But
sugars.
fainting's not in there. I mean, how do you know when you're going to faint?
No,
You strike me as someone that would faint, Ross.
Are you serious? I have never
Like
fainted.
this, Nat, with your hand on your head.
Yeah.
You just-
It's probably more swooning when you do it.
Swooning. That's a different thing in my world. No, I've never fainted. Shawnee, you said you did? Or nearly did?
Yeah, I've got... Yeah, I've got two quick stories. I hope my friend Pete's listening. Good morning, Pete. Because his son had an accident where he got hit in the head and it dented the skull.
Oh, man.
Oh,
So when he went in to see
So fractured his skull.
Fractured
Basically
skull, yeah.
caved into one of the sinuses on his forehead, yeah?
100%.
Dented sounds
100%.
funner.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? And it was a footy game. So when he went to see the doctor, they came in there as parents, and Pete was standing there, and the doctor said, what we're going to do is going to make an incision where the hairline
Do
is.
some panel beating.
Yeah.
Pull the skin down, like you pull it down like a mask.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then
that's
you,
true.
yeah, and you
Pop
flick
it out.
Like
pop it
a-
out, hunky dory. And as soon as the guy described that they were going to pull his
Oh,
face
so
down,
they hadn't actually even done it yet.
no.
Talking. Who fainted?
Pete, he just
Oh,
went down, and he fainted,
Pete
and he
went
just
down.
remembers lying there, right? So he woke up and he was in a chair next to his son. 'Cause His son's, getting still
Yeah.
examined, and he's in the chair next to him.
Yeah, we've got a fainter. I reckon thered be plenty of guys that have fainted during the birth process because it's fairly horrendous.
Oh, yeah.
And also, it's like, you have to make it about you, don't you?
Well, they squeeze your hand pretty tight during that.
Oh, I'm so sorry for your
There's
suffering.
blood restrictions, so things happen.
To your fingers.
Yeah.
Fainting can happen. My story was when I had an operation, and they came in to me and said, I said, I'm going to leave. And they said, no, you need to stay and make sure you've etten and had enough to drink and all that. And I said, I was like, no, I'm out
No,
of
I'm
here.
good to go.
And I was at
Watch me
Mercy
go.
Hospital in Mount Lawley.
Yes.
And then I got out and I put my clothes on, and then I started walking to the elevator, and I could just feel myself just
Bit woozy?
going a bit woozy. And I got to the elevator and went to press the button, and I literally held onto the wall and slid down the wall a bit. And then this nurse came and grabbed my arm, and she said, "Are you all right?" And I said, I think I need to go back tomorrow.
I think I need that sandwich after all.
Are you saying the doctors were right and Shaun McManus
They
was
were right, Ross.
I'm going to check
I was
myself
down,
out.
mate.
That's a
I
McManus
was
move
down.
if ever I heard it. All right, tell us about the time you fainted. Easy question.
Fainters.
I've got very close to fainting just once. It was when I was 12 and I was in the queue for the bookshop at the Mount Lawley Senior High School at the start of year 8. So it's January.
Yep. Yeah, boiling
Aching
hot.
And the queue was so slow moving, just standing there. And I can remember thinking, and then everything just went black and like tiny little gold pinpricks kind
Yeah.
of thing, that kind of thing. And then I just went, I have to sit down. And I sat down. And so I stopped. I didn't actually faint, but that's the closest I've ever come.
Well,
and you get the whooshing in your ears. It's like, oh, this isn't good.
Remember Pav telling us, and I was there when he went down, and he nearly died.
Pav
Actually,
went
that's a
down.
bit of a
Yeah.
serious conversation, yeah.
Okay.
But he fainted.
Yes, exactly. We are talking fainting. Elizabeth, hello.
Oh, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Are you a fainter, Elizabeth? What happened?
Oh, I am. It happened quite a long time ago. I was 17. I just finished a gym workout, and I had, as you do, go into the sauna, and then I had a bit of time there, and then I went into a steam room, and then a spa, and then I jumped into the showers, and I fainted in the shower and hit my head. And I don't know exactly what happened thereafter, but when I woke up, I was in the manager's office on the couch with a bunch of towels wrapped around me. The manager was a female, but all the staff were male, so I'm not quite sure.
Oh, you
who
naked
carried
fainted.
me and who found me.
Naked fainting.
Yeah.
Naked fainting.
Naked,
That's the worst time to faint, some
That
might
is
say.
terrible.
It
Elizabeth,
was
and you're only 17 at the time.
I was only 17 and I was so embarrassed. And when I woke up, I was very disorientated. I didn't know where I was.
Of course.
And I didn't know why I was sitting on the couch, just completely naked with
towels.
towels. Yeah, it took me a while to sort of come to and realise what had happened.
This is
Has
the
it happened
reason-
to you again, Elizabeth? Have you ever woken up on a couch naked with just a couple of towels on you?
No, but I've fainted many times. I mean, I think probably the only other time, significant time, was when my middle child ripped his knee open, and I had to. It was Christmas Eve, and I had to take him down to the local doctor's office.
Yeah.
And the GP at the time was going to a Christmas party and was all decked out in his tux, and he kindly stayed back and started to stitch my son's knee, and I think from the screaming of my son, it made me faint, and I woke up and I was just next to him, and he'd already been
In an evening dress,
This
which is
poor,
amazing.
poor doctor's like, I just want to go to the Christmas party. Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's go to Tanya in Jandakot. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey,
Hi, Tanya.
Tanya.
When did you faint, Tan?
Okay, so I'm an empathy fainter. If you start describing stuff to me, I just go.
Yes.
And my mother, I came home from work. My mum she said she had a minor stroke during the day. So we were like, oh my God, take her down to emergency. And it was just when the COVID restrictions were about to be lifted, when you weren't supposed to have somebody go in with you. So they said to me, come back in half an hour. So I came back. And they were busy assessing her. And while they were assessing her, she had a major stroke. They lay her down. They get everybody in there. They've got like 7 people around her. The specialist has me sitting on a chair next to her, and she's explaining to me what they're going to do, what they're going to put in her, how they're going to do it. And I could feel it just rising. And I was like, give me a minute. I pushed the chair away, and I just laid on the floor next to her, like where she was. When I came around, they had me in a gurney, and they had admitted me to the hospital. So I then had to call my partner who had to come, and she
like
had
dominoes.
to then oversee the two of us. Yeah. So, I only got, they only let me go at like 1 o'clock in the morning. The whole time that they were treating her there, I'm laying in a gurney next to her watching the whole thing.
Oh.
It was just
So
it's
it's not
embarrassing.
It's not so
Tanya.
much watching what they're doing to your mum, it's when they describe what they're doing that
when
gets
they
you.
describe it, it's like, that's me, I'm gone.
So,
Yeah.
Tan, you just said you're an empathy fainter, and I know there's a few people that are empathy spewers.
Sure.
Are you one of those people as well?
Oh, I can't. I can't even hear it.
Don't even describe it, we'll lose
it. Yeah, my daughters won't even have me as their emergency contact.
You're
So
right. Okay, yes. You're what's known as an emergency liability, rather than.
That's right. Very
Thanks,
good.
Tanya. We'll finish off with Sarah from Wattle Grove. Hello.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Great,
Sarah. When did you faint?
I fainted when the first time I had COVID.
Yeah.
I went to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and as I was sitting there on the toilet, I could feel myself going to be sick,
Oh, no.
and my heart was just beating out of my chest.
Yeah.
And I fainted off from the toilet onto, I don't know whether I hit the floor or the wall, but I woke up in a pool of blood, and I'd broken my nose and my hand, and I was split my lip. And
You're a violent fainter. And also, while you
Sarah.
described that, Tanya just fainted again.
Sarah. Oh, so you woke up and you're all basically beaten up.
Yeah, I had blood just pouring from my nose because it was broken. So, my husband thought there was someone in the garage, so he's gotten up to check there, and it was actually my head hitting the something, the wall or the floor.
Oh.
So I've gotten up and I said, I think I need the ambulance. And then I've just laid back down and I couldn't open my eyes. And so, I was taken to hospital.
And also, this all happened while your pants were down. Let's not forget.
A lot of naked fainters.
There is, I know. It's the worst time. It's the worst scenario. Thank you, Sarah.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Big day today in Western Australia, obviously. And not State of Origin, that was yesterday.
Yeah, but this is bigger. This is bigger, Nat.
State Budget Day. Time to catch up with our Premier, Roger Cook. Good morning, Cookie.
Morning.
Is anything bigger than Origin? I'm not sure.
I think this is up there. This is up there,
So
Roger.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Let's talk Origin first of all, quickly. So you were there last night. Big sellout, great game.
Yeah, so around about just under 60,000 people crammed into Optus Stadium. It was an amazing night. The weather was a bit ordinary, but I think everyone had a huge night. Over 13,000 tickets were sold for people outside the state.
Okay.
So that's visitors that came to fill our pubs, our clubs, our cafes.
Hotels.
So it was a great night for footy, but it was also an amazing night for the WA economy.
Yeah, I've heard that the people that own the Camfield have just gone into retirement, the amount of beer that was drank over there overnight, Rog. Can you confirm that?
Well, we certainly know they would have been busy last night. Look, it's just a huge jobs generator, right?
Yeah.
And so it's such an important part of our diversification of the economy piece, you know, making sure that we're boosting our tourism economy as well.
No, it's
but
huge
also
event.
last night there was this extra sense of excitement because it comes hot off the announcement that we're about to launch the Perth Bears into the NRL comp in 2027. So everyone was extra pumped last night.
Oh, no, it's amazing to have someone of the calibre of Mel Meninga who's going to coach the
It's
Perth
a name
Bears.
everybody knows, yeah.
Mate, that's crazy to have a start-up like that.
Yeah, and look, I had the honour of meeting Mel Meninga yesterday. He's such a nice guy. He's so passionate about his sport. He's really excited about bringing NRL to Western Australia. So I mean, it was a great day yesterday. But today, budget and that
what a come down.
Back locked in.
Ross has got a question. Ross has got a big time question for you, Rog.
This is a
I hope
question.
you're sitting down.
Question on behalf of me. Cost of living relief.
What's in it for
What
Ross?
we got?
Yeah, well, look, as you'll see today, there's going to be more cost of living relief. We know that the Western Australian economy is the strongest in the nation at the moment, but we know that there are still people who are doing it tough. So, we're obviously in the middle of our WA student assistance payment, the second round of that, and we'll continue to make sure that we can lock in our $337 million household WA battery rebate, which will lock in savings for WA households into the future as they enjoy the advantages of having battery power with their solar power as well. So that's going to be an incredibly important part.
Actually,
we've also boosted financial counselling services by $3 million to continue to help people who are on a really tight budget in their homes.
Yeah, Cookie, I am going to be doing that battery rebate, which is super helpful. Still a little bit you got to pay because it doesn't stack with the federal government. However, when it comes to the power bill, Shaun already said no. Are we getting a rebate on the power bill?
Well, we'll be making announcements in the budget today, so we'll just have to wait for the actual budget
what a tease.
later on
It's
today,
such a
guys.
tease. Do you and Rita have a conversation about who gets to announce what?
Oh, well, look, it's her budget, and Rita's done an amazing job continuing to make sure that we can, in this budget, deliver on our election commitments, but still maintain strong financial management and to make sure that we lock in the future of economic prosperity, keeping that economic momentum going. So today you'll see a lot of conversation, a lot of talk around economic infrastructure, continuing to diversify our economy. But, of course, we want to proceed on our clean energy transition. So there's lots of funding around industrial areas and continuing to make sure that we have the poles and wires to make sure that we can really decarbonise our economy.
Roger, I did notice in the paper today that Rita wrote in, she does a bit of an opinion piece in the paper, and she wrote, the first point of it was that when she was a schoolgirl, she got so excited on Budget Day because she found Budget Day to be so interesting. Now, does this ring true to you?
No.
That as a schoolgirl, Rita was excited by Budget Day?
Well, I certainly remember when I was a kid, they'd always talk about, the taxes and excises on, cigarettes, milk and beer.
Yes.
They'd always say cigs up, beers up. But, nowadays, the budgets are more focused on making sure that Western Australia is a productive economy.
No, I'm saying she's lying about it. She's lying about it.
She was up in Rolling Stone, mate.
I don't know. She's a bit of an economic nerdy. There's no doubt about that. And from that perspective, she's, it's so good to have her as my Deputy Premier to make sure that
Very diplomatic.
Our budgets are the best in the country.
Hey, Rog, I totally agree with the infrastructure, all the spending that needs to be happening, because we need to make sure that West Australia is at the top of the pops in terms of business who want to do work with us and making our own stuff and all that kind of stuff. The housing thing is interesting to me because you're saying you want to unlock 33,000 residents and make housing affordability more...
Make it possible for more people,
And we've heard...
Sure, it's all about supply, It's about getting more and more homes.
We're not meeting those standards. Like, Albo sat here and we get along like a house on fire with Albo, as you know, but he says all these numbers and we're not meeting them. More people are coming into our state, more people are coming into the country, and we're not meeting any of those standards. So supply and demand people go, why housing's so expensive? Well, supply and demand, it's pretty basic stuff. How are you going to support the housing industry? Housing businesses are falling over left, right and centre.
Yeah, so look, housing will be a big focus in this. Our priorities are jobs, health and housing. And we've already made a few announcements around the housing piece, particularly around using the Key Start system for a shared equity scheme to get people into their first home, particularly for those people buying apartments or townhouses. So we're going to really support that multi-dwelling apartment development and to make sure that we continue to build the densities. But under the National Housing Accord, the Prime Minister set us a challenge of 25,000 homes a year. This year we'll hit 23,000, and the NBA has said we're the only state in Australia that's looking like getting anywhere near our targets in relation to what the federal government believes we need to deliver in order to keep ahead of population growth. WA is the strongest economy in the country. We've got the fastest growing population in the country. That means we're really going to have to put a strong emphasis on making sure we have social services like education and health, but obviously that we continue to grow our housing stock. So today's announcement is another part of the housing package that we've been pursuing. As I said, we've got our Key Start shared equity scheme, which was about to kick off, the increased stamp duty concessions and thresholds, which will again help first home buyers get into their first place, throwing literally everything at the housing challenges at the moment to continue to grow the opportunities for people to get into a home.
Good on you, Rog.
Well, happy budget day, and of course, you're not as excited as Rita. Obviously, it is like Christmas for her. So
we're excited.
Give her all our love. Thanks so much,
you, Rog.
Cookie.
Thank you, Premier.
Thanks, guys.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
There was a girl's online, it's gone viral. She didn't get a job after an interview because she's ChatGPT. Now, her name's Alex. She's 30 years old. She works as a creative systems and workflow consultant.
Whatever that is.
I don't know what that means.
That's a title, isn't it?
Yeah, but she applied for a job, a part-time job, 20 grand a year. So not bad. She had
20 grand a year, not bad.
Part-time.
No, but still.
Maybe it's a couple of days. 24. Mate, I don't know what you guys are on, but that'd be good for me. Involved in
that doesn't cover this morning. What are you talking about?
Exactly, mate.
So she had an interview, and part of the interview involved a questionnaire and a trial task. She was given.
I hate these things.
Yeah,
by the way. Like that's. Yeah, but I get it. They're trying to test your capability to do the job.
Yeah, very.
So they give you like half an hour and a problem to solve or
she
whatever.
Had 30 minutes to complete the task, and she figured using the AI tool was smart. And this is what she said, and this is the video that's gone viral.
I got a rejection email yesterday from the interview process that I had, and one of the main reasons was my heavy use of ChatGPT. When are we going to stop shaming people who use ChatGPT? Because it absolutely, if you use it intelligently, it's the most efficient way of working ever. And I'm proud to say that I use it.
So before we jump in, she says, using ChatGPT created a cohesive and beautiful way of representing my thoughts.
Yeah, but that sounds like she's used ChatGPT to construct that answer.
100%.
So what she reckons she did is brainstorm the ideas for whatever this solution to the problem.
Put the dot points or something down.
And then got ChatGPT to formulate that into a response. And it's like, well, I kind of get where she's coming from. Like, you know, accountants, if an accountant was given a task, they'd be allowed to use a calculator. Sure, you could work it out with a pen and paper, but it's more efficient to use the tools at hand. It's more efficient to use Excel to do it rather than adding it up. You know, you can just... So
agreed.
If it is, in this day and age, a tool that everybody uses in that job anyway... I get where she's coming from.
Yeah, but the task she was set was to just put down her name, number, and address. And when you're using ChatGPT,
but they tidied it up,
made it cohesive.
Did it in a friendly voice.
when you're going for a job for $20,000 a year, the criteria for any employer is that the person needs to turn up.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
I know what you're saying.
I guess the interview, they were looking, their expectations, they want to know more about the person, right? And not the ChatGPT version of that person.
My daughter's got her ass kicked a few weeks ago. I think it was maybe a month ago at school because she reckons she was a bit behind. There was some test. I don't know if it was a test or something she was doing that she needed to get in really
like
quick.
A set task.
Task. And she went to ChatGPT and she just went, obviously then wrote out what the answers were, and then she got in trouble for it. And she was trying to explain to me in the car on the way home that she just didn't have the time to do it. And the answer
because of her very busy schedule.
Very busy schedule, yes. Very tough at Santa Maria.
Don't you wish we had it back when we were at
God
school?
bless.
Oh, how much? Well done, Sean. It would have. How much time would have it saved us in? Do you have book
I
assignments?
would have learned a thing.
Essay?
I would have learned a thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
What did you learn? What is that?
I didn't learn a thing.
I mean, that is the problem, is that at school, like, there is a presumption that at the end of it, you're going to have more knowledge than what you started with.
Yeah.
And if you're just getting ChatGPT to do all of it, the only thing that you're learning is how to use ChatGPT.
Yeah. You want the knowledge in your head, not
a little bit
in prompts on a ChatGPT. But I don't know, we didn't grow up with it, did we? What's the expectations going to be these days?
But do you get it through osmosis anyway because you're holding the
osmosis?
Device?
Oh, yeah, and it soaks in. Yeah.
I remember that from biology.
Yeah.
Thank
I remember
you.
that.
See, I did learn something.
Yeah, osmosis, it like absorbs, right?
Permeable membrane.
I don't confuse it with bigger words. I just got that one. Sean, you knew that, right?
He didn't. He had it from somewhere else.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.